Hi, my name is Abby Heidenreich with Purdue Extension in Orange County, and I'm here today with Daniel Robinson, and we're going to get some cover crops put on today. Daniel, tell me a little bit about yourself.
We farm in Orleans. We've done some grazing mixes like this before, put on after harvest, of course, and we're going to try this drone application, get a little earlier start on it, and we've got 3 different mixes we're going to try if we can get them all on and just see what comes up. We finally got some moisture, so we'll see what grows and compare it to after harvest. We'll add the same mixes and compare pre-harvest versus post-harvest and see what kind of grazing we get out of it.
And what are you seeding on today?
We've got some triticale with oats, clover, kale, and turnips, and then we're also going to do some cereal rye, and then we're going to try some annual ryegrass with those other 4. So we'll see what comes up good, what the cows like, what winters well. We'll try to get some fall grazing, and then we'll see what kind of spring grazing we get also.
Sounds great.
Jenny Rowland here with the Lost River Watershed Project. We are here working with Abby with Purdue Extension, Lee with NRCS, and DWR Farms on the cover crop project. We started this project with a drone application on 3 different fields with 3 different diverse mixes, and these are going to be grazing mixes, all 3 of them. So from here over was applied with the drone back on August 31st over a standing crop of corn, and we're just out here looking at our stands and seeing what we've got here on October the 5th, a little over a month later, to see what we can learn from it. On the other side of me is a field that was seeded after harvest. So we're going to talk to Daniel Robinson about when that was seeded and how it was seeded, and we're going to talk to Abby about what we're seeing here.
Hi, this is Abby Heidenreich with Purdue Extension in Orange County, and I'm here with Daniel Robinson of DWR Farms, and we're here to talk about what we've got with our cover crop plot this year. So Daniel, tell us a little bit about the differences between these 2 plots that we've got here. When was this one seeded?
The drone, it was flown on August 31st. And then the post-harvest was, I think it was picked on September 15th, and the cover crop was on the 17th, followed by a really good rain, so got everything kicked off right. And the drone was also, it had a few showers right after it was done, so pretty even precipitation start on both of them.
So how much precipitation do you think we've gotten to date today?
Since the post-harvest, almost 5 inches, mainly two big settings. So plenty of moisture to get everything up and going.
And what are we seeing coming up here in the drone applied plot?
Of course, the stand, it doesn't look quite as strong, but you've got a lot more vegetative growth. Lots of 2-leafers, nothing over 2 inches tall. on post-harvest, and you've got lots of 6-inch turnips, and the triticale, this particular one, is doing really well.
So what's the main difference that you're seeing so far between the two plots as far as the drone applied versus the post-harvest? Just the size of things?
Yeah, mainly just overall size. Ground cover wise, I mean, they're probably about equal right now. That one will cover over a little more as time goes on, but these plants, they would be ready for grazing sooner. Just because of their size, we could turn in on them sooner and not hurt them. Just a little less ground cover to be expected.
Hello, I'm Lee Schnell with NRCS here in Orange County. Out here at DWR's cover crop plots. The one I'm standing in now is the one that was aerial applied with the drone. We went with a 5-way mix to add a lot of diversity to the soil, to build the soil health, to add organic material, and to also have a lot of good quality standing feed for Daniel and David's cows when he turns them in here in the fall. We went with crimson clover. We went with triticale, which is a cross between cereal rye and wheat. We also went with turnips and kale and oats. This is a mix of brassicas. Obviously the crimson clover is an annual, it's a legume, so it fixes nitrogen and puts it in the soil. And also the grasses. So we have a good variety of winter annuals. We have provided a good base of diversity to kickstart the soil. This is not DWR's first time of planting cover crops, so we're adding in what he's already done and hope what he will continue to do. Come November, this is going to be green, even more green. It's going to cover the ground more, and we're going to see a bountiful crop of winter annuals for the cows and also for the soil. What we're looking at here now is the turnip. It's brassica. This is either the grazing apron turnip or the purple top. It's great at busting up compaction in the subsoil. It has a great nutrient value for the grazing beef cattle that will come. This over here, we have our legume. This is crimson clover. It's not a real racehorse in growth in the fall. If it makes it through the winter, we have a nice mild winter. It really fixes the nitrogen in late April, May, and up into June when it starts putting on the blooms. What we're looking at here is the kale. That is a brassica. That also busts up compaction. That also puts a really good tuber into the soil. Has great fibrous and main roots, and also provides good nutritional value for anything that is grazing on it.
All right, we're over here on our second plot. It's October the 5th, and in this second plot we had the same mix as we had over in the other plot. We just switched out the triticale with annual ryegrass. Is that right?
That's right.
All right, so we're over here and things are looking really nice over here. What do you have here?
The biggest turnip I can find out
All right.
of, what's it been, just 7 weeks?
Yeah.
So
this was drone applied over standing corn, and this stand looks really good. We've got a nice mixture of everything that was in the mix, so this plot has filled in pretty nicely. So would you say you're pleased with this plot here?
Yeah, this one looks really good. I'm anxious to see the head start that it's got, what the vegetation looks like on the post-harvest versus the drone after another couple weeks. So I'm anxious to see the size of them.
All right.
I'm Jenny Rowland. We're here with Zach Beasley, KLZ Ventures. We're on the family farm here at Zach farms with his dad and brother, and we're looking at cover crops with the Lost River Cover Crop Project. Zach, I just want to get your thoughts on the project and cover crops and soil health in general.
Yeah, thank you, Jenny. Yeah, we're here today to talk about cover crops, and before we get into that, I would like to say this is my grandfather Schuler's farm. I will represent the sixth generation of our family farming in this geographical area. Very proud of that, and I know both of my grandfathers would be very proud that we're looking into soil health and soil stability. Erosion is one of the main reasons why I wanted to pursue this. In addition to soil health, that may be one of the more obvious ones, but those of you familiar with southern Indiana, as you can probably see behind me, we have a lot of rolling terrain, and so cover crops help stabilize the soil, and as many of you in the agricultural world know, that they're not making dirt anymore, and so it's very important to keep it on site rather than washing out in the road and down the rivers to the Gulf of Mexico. So I'm happy to work with Jenny and NRCS and IDEM and placing cover crops on our farm. We look forward to seeing how it stabilizes the soil. Also looking forward to moving into next year and possibly doing some rotational grazing with our beef cattle. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Zach. Go for it.
What we have here is a cereal rye stalk and two plants of a crimson clover here at Busix. And one thing that we want to always remember is what we see above ground is not always what we see below ground in terms of root depth and size of the actual cover crop at this point in time. It is November 29th, and if you notice this root of this cereal rye, how deep it's already penetrated into the soil versus what's above ground. We have about 3.5 inches above ground, and we have about 6 to 8 inches below ground on the cereal rye. So it can be deceiving when you look out in a field and you don't see a sea of green like you think you should, as well as the cereal rye, as well as the crimson clover, that is, with it being a real fibrous root system. It doesn't have the depth that the cereal rye has, but it is setting roots so it can nodulate in the spring and fix nitrogen from the air. Also, we have two more stalks of cereal rye that we dug up today, November 29th, out here at Busix, and you'll see the growth on them as well. So it's almost double below ground in root depth as what is above ground in the actual vegetation itself.
Okay, we're at another field. This is pretty good looking cereal rye, and we've got some radishes out here, I think, maybe some sort of brassica. So it's had to lick, so it's pretty well gone. So, but we did some digging, and if you can kind of see around a little bit, that the cereal rye is pretty robust on this particular field, and this kind of goes back to my personal theory a little bit, that that cereal rye is scavenging a lot of nitrogen that the corn didn't utilize at the end of the season. So that's a good thing. That's what we really want to see. We're keeping that nitrogen here on the farm. We're keeping it out of our water system, and especially here in this county with the cave system and all the sinkholes, that is a major plus. So we went and dug down. We hadn't dug down as deep on some of the other sites that we looked at today. Just kind of looking to see where we saw the majority of the roots and things. So, but on this one, we decided, hey, well, let's just go down a little bit deeper and see what we get into. So, like I said, just here you can see that we've got our topsoil, or at least our organic rich layer here is roughly about 11 inches thick before we start getting into our lighter colored subsoil here.
We went down about 21 to 22 inches, and you can see that even here we still got roots going down through the soil profile. They're starting to peter out a little bit there at the 22-inch mark, but you can see all these light white colored roots and things like that. Then those are the ones that are the living and growing roots. So that pretty much tells me that they're attached to this cereal rye that's growing up here on top. And in this particular spot, you can see that the roots are kind of in this darker little channel. This is an old worm channel or a previous root channel where that organic matter is getting drugged down deeper into the soil profile. So that's taking your nitrogen and your other nutrients down deeper, where the roots for your next crop can utilize those. So you can see those little channels through there and that sort of thing. So like I said, we're down about 21 to 22 inches, and we still got some pretty decent root channels. And this particular one here, you can see that this kind of older root that's kind of dried up and got the bark on it, that's an older root. That might have been a corn root going down. So a lot of times you'll see those cover crop roots, they'll be chasing those same